Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today we are going to be taking a look at Indiamart Intermesh Ltd's 2024 annual report, getting into the world of Indian B2B e-commerce. And I know annual reports don't exactly scream like exciting weekend read, but trust me on this one, this is not your average dry report. We're talking about a company that's essentially India's answer to Alibaba, connecting millions of businesses and really shaping the entire future of commerce in one of the world's fastest growing economies. And to guide us through all the important takeaways, we have our expert with us who can, spot trends in these reports and decode financial jargon like it's second nature.
But let's just say these reports, they do have a way of hiding those exciting insights. But once you know where to look, they can tell a fascinating story.
Exactly. So for our listeners who might be new to IndiaMart, can you give us that quick what they're all about? What's their main thing?
Sure. At its core, Indiamart is all about connecting buyers and suppliers in that huge Indian market. Think of it like a massive online marketplace where businesses can find everything they need, from raw materials all the way to finished products, all in one place, like a digital matchmaking service, but for businesses.
And they're not exactly a small operation either, are they? The report mentions some really big numbers in terms of their size and how far they reach.
Yeah, we're talking about a network of 194 million registered buyers, almost 8 million suppliers, and a product catalog that has over 100 million listings. Those numbers alone really show they're a major force in Indian B2B e-commerce.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot of zeros for sure. Really gives you a sense of their dominance. But here's where I thought things got really interesting. They're making some moves in the accounting software space. Now, I'm no financial expert, but that seems like an interesting move for an e-commerce company, wouldn't you say?
It might seem a little out of left field at first, but when you think about the bigger picture in India right now, it's actually a pretty smart move. India is going through a massive economic shift towards digitalization, especially for small businesses.
Right, I've been hearing about this.
Yeah, and this formalization, it means there's a huge demand for online accounting solutions, something that's easy to use and also affordable. And small businesses really need help navigating all this new technology.
So IndiaMart sees an opportunity to step in and provide that support.
Exactly. And they're not just dipping their toes in the water. The report highlights how they acquired Busy Infotech and Livekeeping Technologies. Both of those companies are players in the accounting software space. Plus, they made strategic investments in Simply Vyapar and RealBooks. So they're really serious about this sector.
They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's already paying off a little bit. Busy Infotech, I think it was sold a bunch of new software licenses just this past year.
Yeah, they sold 33,000 new licenses just in 2024. And that's just 1 year. And just one of the companies they've invested in. So to me, that shows the potential in that market and how IndiaMart is well positioned to really capitalize on it.
Wow. Yeah, that's not messing around. That's going all in. But it's not all about profits and growth with this company. One thing that really struck me in the report was their focus on social impact and sustainability. It seems like they're really trying to make a positive difference.
Yeah, I agree. It's not just lip service. It's really refreshing to see a company of their size putting so much emphasis on social responsibility. And it's not just vague promises. They give concrete examples of their impact in the report.
Okay, like what? Give me the highlights.
For one, their digital platform itself is inherently more sustainable than traditional ways of doing business. Less paper. Think about it. Online catalogs, digital invoices, online transactions. All of that reduces paper waste.
Right. It's like built-in sustainability.
Yeah, exactly. They're also really committed to empowering those smaller suppliers, especially in rural areas, by giving them the tools to build an online presence. IndiaMart helps these businesses reach way more customers, and that boosts local economies and creates jobs.
It's a ripple effect.
Exactly. And on top of that, they're investing in community development too, focusing on education skills development and supporting entrepreneurs. That whole approach to social responsibility is something I really admire.
Yeah, very impressive. Now, switching gears just a bit, the report mentions Dinesh Chandra Agarwal being reappointed as managing director and CEO, and there's a whole section on the shareholder vote on his compensation.
Right, which is a good reminder that corporate governance is important. Transparency on things like executive pay is crucial.
For sure. And speaking of governance, the report seems pretty upfront about their structure and commitment to ethical practices.
Definitely. They talk in detail about the board of directors, how important it is to have independent directors and a diverse board. And they explain the role of all the different board committees, like the audit committee and the Nomination and Remuneration Committee. All of that ensures ethical and responsible decisions are being made.
It's good to know. They're not just saying they have good governance, they're explaining how it all works. Okay, let's get to the part everyone wants to know about how they do financially. The numbers here look good. They reported a 7% CAGR in business inquiries. And for those who don't know all the financial terms, CAGR stands for Compound Annual Growth Rate.
It's one of the key ways to measure growth over time, and 7% is a very healthy number. It shows that Indiamart is consistently attracting more businesses to the platform, which is what investors want to see.
Exactly. And on top of that, their net profit margin, which is how much revenue they keep as actual profit after expenses, is at 27.9%. Plus, they had that bonus share issue they approved last year, rewarding those investors.
Yeah, it's a solid track record. Yeah. Those numbers tell me Indiamart is on a good path for growth. And the fact that they're staying profitable while they expand is really impressive.
Makes you wonder, where'd they go from here? What's next for Indiamart with all this growth?
That is the million-dollar question. But the report does give us some clues. They're clearly aiming to be the leader in India's B2B world. And that means going beyond just buying and selling.
So becoming more like a one-stop shop for businesses.
Exactly. Think of it as building an entire ecosystem where businesses not only connect with each other, but can also get all sorts of services to help them run smoothly. Accounting software, payments, logistics, support, you name it. They're exploring it all.
Wow, it's like they're building a digital nation inside a nation.
It's ambitious for sure. But if they can pull it off, it could really change the game. Not just for Indiamart, but for the entire Indian economy.
It does feel like they're a company to keep your eye on.
Yeah.
But even with their track record and plans, there are always challenges, right? You can't predict everything. Every business has them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And a good annual report will always talk about those risks directly. Indiamart didn't shy away from that at all. They actually spent a good chunk of the report outlining potential challenges. Transparency is definitely something they seem to value.
That's good to see. So what kind of things are they worried about?
Well, one of the big ones is competition. The B2B e-commerce space in India is getting crowded. Lots of companies are jumping in, all trying to get a piece of that pie.
Makes sense. It's a big market with lots of potential.
Exactly. And then there's the whole regulatory situation in India. New rules and regulations popping up all the time, especially around things like data privacy and e-commerce. That could be tough for businesses to keep up with.
Got to be able to adapt quickly.
For sure. Oh, and of course, there's always the risk of cybersecurity issues. Indiamart deals with a ton of sensitive data, so they're a prime target for hackers.
It's like a constant battle between companies like them and the bad guys.
That's a good way to put it. But it seems like Indiamart is on top of it. The report talked about their security measures, how they make sure they're following all the rules, and even what their plan is if something bad does happen.
So they've got a backup plan. Always a good sign. You know, something else I noticed earlier, they mentioned trying to reach businesses outside the big cities too, right? Expanding into smaller towns and even rural areas.
Yeah, that's a big part of their strategy, tapping into what they call Harat. That's the huge market in less urban parts of India.
Where maybe people are just now getting online for the first time.
Right. As more people in those areas get access to the internet and smartphones, it creates a ton of opportunities for businesses. And Indiamart wants to be the ones who connect with everyone else.
Makes sense, but I imagine there are some challenges with that. Internet access and all that isn't the same everywhere in India.
Oh, definitely. They know they need to help bridge that digital divide, offering training and support for people who are new to the internet. Even just the logistics of serving those markets is tougher. Deliveries and things like that aren't as easy as in the big cities.
So it's not as simple as just having a website or an app.
Nope. They need to make sure everyone can actually use it.
Right.
So the report mentions some of the things they're doing, like making their platform available in a bunch of different languages, and even offering help offline through local partners.
Wow, so they're really going the extra mile.
They are.
It's really cool to see that commitment to inclusivity.
It is.
Okay, speaking of their platform, there was a section on something called enterprise solutions. What's that all about?
That's where they focus on bigger companies, the ones with more complex needs.
So like a personalized service for the big spenders.
Kind of. They work one-on-one with those companies to create solutions that fit their specific industry and help them grow.
And they had some pretty impressive success stories in there, didn't they? Yeah, they did. Those examples really showed how Indiamart can change the game, even for businesses that are already successful. They help them streamline their supply chains, make their procurement processes more efficient, and reach a lot more customers, all by using technology in a smart way.
It's always good to see real-world examples instead of just promises.
Absolutely.
Makes it more believable.
For sure.
Okay, so we've covered their impressive growth, their social impact, their commitment to good governance, their solid financials, their expansion into new markets, and their push to become this all-in-one solution for businesses. Anything else in this report we absolutely have to talk about before we move on?
One more thing. It goes back to what we were saying earlier about India becoming more digital. Remember how we talked about the demand for online accounting software?
Yes, that's a big part of their plan.
Right. Well, what's interesting is they're not stopping at just basic accounting software. They're integrating those tools directly into their e-commerce platform.
So it's like one platform for everything.
Exactly. Imagine a small business owner. They can manage their inventory, send invoices, track payments, even file their taxes, all in the same place where they're buying and selling products.
That would be so convenient.
Right. Especially for businesses that might not have a whole team dedicated to that stuff.
Or the money to pay for a bunch of different software subscriptions.
Exactly. And the report highlighted how they're using all the latest technology to make it work. Cloud computing, mobile access, even artificial intelligence, all to make these tools as user-friendly as possible.
They're really trying to simplify things for business owners.
They are.
Making it easier to run a business in this digital world.
Exactly.
That's a powerful message to send. Yeah, it's like they're identifying all the headaches of running a business and coming up with these really sleek tech solutions.
Exactly. And that's a smart move in India. Small and medium-sized businesses are such a huge part of their economy.
Totally. It's been really interesting to go this deep into Indiamart. I feel like we've uncovered this whole other side to them. It's way more than just an online marketplace.
Oh, for sure. They're thinking big picture. And this report gives us a glimpse into where they want to go.
Speaking of the future, before we wrap things up, I gotta ask.
No doubt it's definitely a story worth following.
Well said. We'll have to leave it there for today. It's been a pleasure breaking down this report with you. I always learn so much from these deep dives.
Me too. You can find something new in the most unexpected places.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, if you're interested in learning more about Indiamart, we encourage you to check out their full annual report. It's on their website. Definitely worth a read if you're curious about business tech or the future of India's economy. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Indiamart. Until next time, stay curious.